Going live. I mean, it's told me that before.
I don't believe it. You're live.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are finally here. We had some testicular difficulties. And now we are finally here for RC Pilots Lounge number 10. We've got Andy from RCJETWERX here, and Anthony, who's a previous guest, and Howard Hughes over here, a.k.a. Captain Mike, from Windiana or Baffin, Canada, whichever place the authorities he's hiding from, you know. So, yeah, we're live in Texas. Some of you have been waiting. We've had trouble getting this thing up and running. So it's okay. We're going to let this thing run an extra 10 minutes if you are worried about that. And we're going to have plenty to talk about. We did a test earlier today. And it was perfect. And then all of a sudden it didn't want to work for us this evening. So good thing Anthony's here with his hotspot. That's what she said. While you're here, do the thumbs up and all that good stuff. Grossman, good to see you. Joshua, Hippie64 dudes.
Monkey.
So for those of you new to the show, I just want to say thanks for coming by. This is where you come to learn, have fun, hang out. We talk about all things in every company, RC, aviation, hobby. Doesn't matter where it's coming from. We love it if it flies. Mm-hmm. So we've got things that we talk about from beginning, trainer planes, all the way up to turbine jets. And we're going to end on the turbine jets tonight, discussing some of that with Andy over here at RCJETWERX. We want to thank everybody who's been super hospitable here in Texas. We look forward to this every year, and we'll figure out a way to make it happen next year as well.
Yes, we will.
We will. And it was a rain out, but we still had the best time flying with Dennis Farley and his son, Wendell, who I'm completely proud of myself for remembering how to say your name.
You got it
just now. I did. I got it.
It's dug in.
And we flew some warbirds with him and then some jets with Andy. Anthony got stick time. You've seen it on Instagram if you've been watching today. We all were just rocking all these jets we've never got a chance to fly before, thanks to this show's sponsor, RCJETWERX. The show number 10 is totally sponsored by Andy at RCJETWERX, who's been hospitable enough to let us just completely ape them and hang out with them for like 3 days because there's another day to go, right? So with that, thank you, Texas, for having us. The restaurant last night,
That was crazy.
the meat of it all was just something to die for. So say hello to the people, everybody.
Hello to the people.
Hey, howdy, folks. Welcome to the State Fair of Texas. You haven't been yet. You got
Hey,
it.
I just want to say,
I've seen enough on the news.
tomorrow, are we going to be at the same field that we were
Yes,
in
we
yesterday?
are.
Okay.
They're expecting us.
The Notre
Awesome.
Dame College of
Culinaries.
Culinaries.
So what's up, Brandon Wilkinson? Man, all of you guys, good to see you. Yes,
Now, are other people invited if we're out there?
No doubt.
Let's invite our friends if they're listening anywhere in the Texas area.
yeah, you tell them about it. The North Dallas Eagle Field.
Okay,
we're going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah, so if you go to the site, ndrcc.com, you can go to the site there and click on locations, and you see this called Eagle Field in Aubrey, Texas. I think it lists as Denton because it is a suburb of Denton. But a little bit of a drive off the highway, but it's a fun drive. So don't think you're lost. You'll get there. Just follow directions. It'll get you there. It is on MapQuest on Google Maps. Outstanding field. I think you guys are very surprised how good the field was. Yeah, they keep it pristine.
And what time will we be out there tomorrow?
Probably around 8:30, 9 o'clock. We'll be
8:30
there.
or 9
Yeah, I've already
o'clock.
told the club we'll be there.
So come on out to this location and kind of fill in for Snowball Express, I guess.
Yeah.
This is kind of the substitute, unofficial Snowball Express, I guess.
We're going out tomorrow to heal our testiculars.
Yes.
Yeah, our technical difficulties. By the way, Mike, quit doing that.
Who?
Yeah, it comes right
Sure
through
me?
there. Yeah, yeah, it was totally you. That's going to be fun. We had a good time flying out there. I was pushing water with a squeegee when we first showed up
Yes.
yesterday, so I was there to clean.
I have proof. It is on film.
Yeah, there's a. By the way,
Mhm.
just because the event got washed out doesn't mean there's not going to be plenty coming from this and actually Flying Ants channel, because cameras have been rolling like all weekend. We worked hard in the studio today. These two right here doing some things because what are you going to do? So and then we got some flights of Dennis Farley flying his Tiger Cat, and he let me fly his E-flite Spitfire, which was cool. So don't be forlorn if you're not a jet dude and you're like, what about me? Because we got you covered too. Just be watching this week. Hit the notification bell when you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That way, when new things pop up, you'll know. And guys, thanks for number 10. We're 2.5 months of consistently doing this some way, shape, or form. So very cool. Andy from RCJETWERX, let's introduce you a little bit. Would you want me to just rip, or you want to like just go? Andy is RCJETWERX. He sells batteries, turbines, components that go with those jets. You carry some HSD jets.
I don't carry HSD jets. We're a Flex Innovations dealer. We're a hobby wing dealer. We're a roaring top dealer. We're a Swine Turbine dealer, and we're about to start carrying the Adrenaline RC composite turbine jets,
which is one of the main reasons and things we're going to focus on, I think, here today. But a lot of the components you sell support and are really designed to keep the guys up and running that are flying the HSD jets or want to hop them up. Like, in fact, today, you two worked really all day making a fantastic informational video on how all that stuff is just really designed to drop in those HSD 105 millimeter electrics. Mm-hmm. Be looking for that video in the future. It's going to be on Andy's network as well as ours, and we'll lead you to rcjetwerx.com to get access to all those components. Your position in the turbine market is really it's a great spot, like a segue. The neat thing about the HSD jets is when you look at them, first of all, you don't know they're foam, but they are. It's some of the best foam I've ever seen.
Right.
And if a guy is looking towards jumping from the 90 millimeter EDF, what's next? You've got a 105 millimeter EDF that could easily be, and in some cases is also offered same size, same company as Turbine Ready. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of that? And after that, we want to dig into this basically plug and play turbine segue perfect situation where you're going to have the planes and all the components for the Adrenaline RC composite jets.
Sure. You know, we started business about almost 5 years ago with batteries intended mainly for the EDF market, the higher end EDF, higher performance EDF market. And in that time that we've been doing that, a lot of our customers have come back to us and said, you know, hey, we're wanting to move into something bigger than 90 millimeters. What is there? There's the HSD jets that are 105 millimeter jets that also they make the same airframe that's turbine ready, and it is a fantastic platform. The quality in the HSD jets is fantastic. The foam is just like nothing you've ever seen before. The electronics, very high quality. They're big. And I think what happens is a lot of guys go from 80, 90 millimeter jets to that 105 millimeter jet. They're going from a 6-pound airplane to a 16-pound airplane. And it's going to fly a little differently. It's going to perform a little differently. And because it's so much bigger, it's so much heavier, there's a few things that we have done, that we have seen, that really bring the performance of that airplane out, makes it explode. And one of those components is just the batteries. High quality, high C batteries just make the stock airplane soar. And then we have a fan package that just really makes it more efficient, faster, longer flight times. And we sell all the components that go with that on our site.
And that's really what guys are after. in the way it was really exciting to watch you guys work up this media today, which explains really how you got to those choices to outfit those airframes for the best efficiency and bang for your buck, really.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what I remember hearing earlier was like hundreds of test flights to get to this basically drop-in situation of ESC, the fan, everything that goes with that, which applies to that whole line of 105s.
Right.
And you've had tremendous success with that, haven't you?
We have. I think between myself and some of our team pilots, we have nearly 500 flights on an electric Super Viper frame. We've put different fans in there. We've tried different batteries. We've tried different placements. We've tried different ESCs. We've tried about everything that you can really throw at the plane to change the performance. And what we settled on as the best bang for the buck, the best performance, the best efficiency, the equipment that's the least taxing on the batteries is a jet fan setup with a 780 kV 12S motor coupled with high C batteries. And it just makes the plane go from stock to as turbine-like performance as you can pretty much get without sticking an engine in it.
You've become the best resource for guys that are living in or shopping in that space between 90 and turbine.
We have, a lot of our customers they're wanting to be somewhere in there and someday maybe get to turbines. And if there is something as far as a turbine, I have people ask me all the time, what's a good turbine trainer? Really, a turbine airplane is the best turbine trainer. But if you can't do that, then the best thing closest to that is probably one of these HSD Super Vipers at 105 millimeters. Or if you're completely a strictly scale guy, then they're F-16, which runs on all the same power components.
Let's talk real quick with a big old cheesy grin about Super Viper as a good turbine trainer, shall we? We got Mike and I, and was that your first turbine flying too, Anthony? We in the videos we shot, we got videos of everybody flying these things yesterday, and they'll come out later on in the week, and you've seen a little bit of it just slip out on Instagram. And guys on the comments, we just got too many people here. I'm not going to be able to tend to you like I usually do, so I apologize, but keep it coming, guys. Talk amongst yourselves. But oh my gosh, so the Super Viper is basically...
We've arrived.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it was the best time. So this thing, and you'll see the videos, and you've seen a little bit of it maybe on Insta, but it's painted up like a T-45. And the Super Viper, if for those of you who don't follow maybe turbines or sport jets, you kind of do know the offerings that we've been behind for so long. So when I mention an Avanti, you know what I'm talking about. The Super Viper is basically shaped exactly like it, except for the tips are just flat. They don't curl up, but it's magical, just like the Avanti. And we flew for the first time, myself, Mike, and Anthony, that Super Viper turbine yesterday with the guidance of the pro himself, Andy Davis. And, I was really kind of nervous and very respectful and just did a couple rolls, nothing fancy. Mike was pretty much the same way and felt locked in and cozy right away. Smooth.
I didn't want to give in to my behavioral problems at that point.
Well, Anthony made up for it, though.
You did.
Anthony's first flight was off the charts, and he went nuts. And I'm sure he's already transferred funds to figure out getting one. So when we talk about a Segway, this Super Viper is magical. It's a great choice. It's offered in both 105 millimeter EDF, which takes it's a 12S deal. So a couple 6S batteries. And what's great though, is I know Andy personally for a while now. He spends a lot of time and energy making sure that the folks who go with these know what they're getting into, from ESC timing, matching the system they're getting, and also asking those kind of questions like what's their experience prior and where are they to outfit them with the thing that's best for them. which I think is fantastic. And it's super exciting. And check out RCJETWERX if this is anything that you think you may be wanting to gravitate towards. And I think you'll have a YouTube channel soon, or flesh out yours a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna start adding more flight videos of the higher performance planes, like the Super Vipers with the turbines, and
some bench stuff too.
Yeah.
I hope, like
Yeah.
coming alongside you, showing how to outfit these components into these aircraft and set them up so you can have the best success ever. There was so much I learned yesterday that I've never seen that goes into it, and it's really slick. From what little bit I know about it from yesterday to the end of yesterday, how far even turbine technology has come, where it's so much more accessible than it used to be. And bubbles, for instance, used to be a problem in the fuel, which is now there's devices that get around that and mitigate that as a problem, as well as engines that can handle the hiccup.
And not only that, it's surprising to find motors, jet engines that you can put in your foam aircraft and have it cooled enough where it doesn't burn it up.
Mhm.
That's surprising. And from what I saw, it looks like most of your fields will still be taken care of, that you won't be burning up your grass and burning up surrounding areas. Or if somebody gets too close, because if you're out with a lot of folks that are just burning, just playing with the 90 millimeters and these other jets, and then all of a sudden you've got a turbine. I was very impressed how close you can get to the back end of it without injuries. And I mean, you can warn people before they get there, before bad things happen. So I was really impressed with the safety margin that's built in these things.
Mm-hmm. The technology's come a long way. You just 5-6 years ago, when you bought an engine, you had to have another fuel source to start it. And a lot of engines were propane start. All the modern engines today are brushless starters. There's no external fuel. They start on the main fuel of the airplane. There's not all these extra solenoids, there's all these extra parts, all this plumbing that goes into them. It's basically just fuel into the tank through the ultimate air trap, which eliminates your batteries or bubbles. And even if you have bubbles, these new engines, these Swinewinds, they're designed to take them now. They're designed to take those bubbles, and it's not going to shut the engine down. It's not going to give you a flame out in flight. And they're just the technology is just so much improved and become so much more affordable as well. The prices have come way down.
You know what I like about what HSD has done is you've done the same thing that's happened over the past 4 or 5 years, where the old way of doing things has just transported itself into a new era. Mm-hmm. Where, just a few years ago, there was no such thing as retracts. And all of a sudden there were servo retracts. Everybody loved it until the servos failed. Mm-hmm. And then it became serverless. And then you had jets that, but we still thought it was the greatest thing. And all of a sudden here's a swoosh sound. Yeah. And how much technology has improved. Well, HSD has just done this with jets, in my opinion, because I think a lot of us, as we were coming up, I've only been flying now for 6 years. This month has been 6 years. And I think a lot of us grew up with in this industry, in this hobby, hoping to someday graduate to turbines, but you just couldn't imagine it because the
jump was too big.
It was too big. Yeah. I mean, the technology of it, the trying to learn, the learning curve, the cost, and just the thought of it going down $10,000, $20,000. Well, when you learn what this is, and what I saw yesterday really impressed me. I mean, looking at this plane and realizing it's an ARF Plus is really what it is. Pretty much. I mean, it comes with everything you need, and all you do is just drop in this motor. And I watched the video today on how to, somebody dropping it in and fit. You just learn a little bit about how turbines work, and boy, you're up and running. Obviously, somebody to teach you how to, learn lag time and things like that. But that's how easy you can transition into this because of what HSD's done, and that's what I'm in love with now. Because at some point we're definitely, I think we're all three gonna be doing this. But
it's super neat, and there's a lot of talk about expense right now in the comments. 2 or 3 decent planes and you could be into one of these. They've become way more affordable than they used to be. And I did have a question I want to get at. Hold your thought. So on the electric version of the Super Viper, it's 2 6S packs.
Essentially. Yeah.
What milliamps?
And the Super Viper itself, or the F-16, I pretty much like the 6,000.
So two 6,000. So you're
Yeah.
12,000 milliamps. And those electrics, you've worked so diligently to get the most efficiency out of those setups. So flight times, let's just say on the electric version, which is most of these guys are coming from electric. So what would be a flight time on that same Super Viper? By the way, as a turbine, we were getting what, easily 7-8 minutes on,
I think my timer set at 7.
which is
Now,
safe.
if you use the other tank for smoke, can you also fill that up with the normal fuel and get a longer flight time?
You can replumb the smoke tank that comes with the Super Viper and run it as a secondary fuel tank, and you can add about 3 more minutes of flight time.
Oh wow,
Man.
which is amazing, man.
It's a
It is.
10-minute timer.
It is.
So this 10-minute flight
This
time.
thing, just for guys, a little bit of perspective on character, it felt like the jet version of a Carbon Z T-28 and kind of almost in size as well emulated that and just locked in. It was really amazing.
Now, for the folks, because I was having some of these same thinking that folks are doing, like, wow, that's very expensive. Okay, well, I bought personally about 9 90-millimeter aircraft. I've super exceeded one of
We paid for this. We
for-
paid for 2 or 3 of these already.
already.
Yeah,
And the thing is now, after flying the Turbine and then thinking about my 90 millimeters, they're great. I love each one of them. But you know what? The thrill factor, you've opened up a whole new. I mean, we've arrived when you're flying the Turbine with the sound, performance, long time. I'm thinking now, I kind of wasted my money.
You know, Mike, I was in my hangar this morning and I was looking around the hangar thinking, okay, if I do this or when I do this, that plane goes, that plane goes, that plane goes, they're gone.
Because
And I
the
paid for
thrill
it.
factor.
And I paid-
Because the
And,
thrill
and, that's,
factor.
and that's all I would need
Yeah.
is that jet right there. That's how excited I was.
Because the thrill factor, I can't get that now out of my electrics.
We were talking.
Once you go turbine, you can't go back.
Yeah.
We did it.
I would still keep them for
It's
different
so addictive.
flying fields and for different conditions.
That's right. There's a plane for every kind of
Right.
purpose.
Exactly.
And we had a lot of good talks yesterday in between the rains and stuff. One of them I remember with all of the guys, Dennis Farley and his son and all of us yesterday, was the pucker factor, the trickle down economics of the pucker factor. Look, it's okay. Not everyone's ready for this.
Sure.
And we ain't pushing you to go there
Definitely
either.
not.
Exactly.
Because some folks don't have the field
Mhm.
for this,
Oh, yeah.
for the room that you're
Right.
going to need.
But this is what we were very excited to be exposed to because it's new for us and very excited to be exposed to this weekend. And talking about pucker factor, I was talking to Dennis and you guys. It's like when you're new, the pucker factor is like, okay, I've finally got high wing trainers and stuff under my belt, and now I'm going to warbirds, let's say,
Right.
which scares you to death.
Yeah.
You prang a few and buy a few and fix a few and lose a few, kill a few, tree a few, whatever.
That's the truth.
But it keeps, going up. So, I mean, I recognize this in my own progression. I think you're always learning or you're in trouble if you close yourself off from that. So my pucker factor keeps on working itself up. Like it used to be that, like I said, like, warbirds, oh my goodness. And then it's like, warbirds in a crosswind, oh my goodness. And then it's like jets, I'm scared to death. And then it's like, we've been flying a lot of them.
Mhm.
So when you go back to warbirds, it's like a piece of cake. You go
Right.
back to civvy stuff, high wing, it's a piece of cake. The jets, I'm not bored. I love my foamies. I've got all my experience in them. I started in 2009. I'm a foam dude. The fact that the hybrid exists as a potential to increase the breadth of what exists behind my pucker factor is amazing.
And the pucker factor is normal. Like you said, you graduate from different. But the amazing thing about this is that, and like Mike said, you don't want to jump into this. If you're just starting out, obviously, you definitely don't do that. But by the time you get from those stages, from the Super Cub to the T-28 to the smaller jet to the bigger jets to even bigger planes. By the time you get to this turbine, you're not crashing as much anymore anyway.
Yeah.
Things are lasting.
but the pucker factor's still there. I looked at the back of it. You were a little tight back there yesterday. But that's normal.
I think it's awesome.
We were all normal.
Plane too,
and flying somebody else's plane.
Which I didn't think I was going to get the radio back from you. By the way. I thought you were.
If I had 3 more minutes, you wouldn't have gotten that. But it was just fantastic to know that when I first started, I always thought to myself, at some point, I sure wish I could do a turbine. Yeah. But I wasn't sure if I could. But as time went on, the more I got better at flying, because I crashed a lot. I think we all did. Just learning. The more I flew, the more I wanted to get into turbines. And so yesterday, I feel like I was ready. Now, you're already nervous about flying someone else's plane. But I had the confidence at that point, especially since you guys went first. And just talk about how easy it was. But this plane actually does do it for you. It is like a big trainer. It is. So don't be afraid to jump. Yeah, I mean,
the sound.
It's the real sound.
Yeah. Not only that. Oh man,
the smell.
If you don't understand what we experienced, because this is a whole new. This is what we've been talking about for years. That we couldn't wait until we got to this level, and it's here. Kind of forced on us, and we were ready. Like you said, we were ready to accept it. But the actual startup, I used to sit in a lot of jets and hearing the wind-ups and hearing the afterburners engaging. You hear the injectors going. You've got your secondary wind-up. It's actually turning that fan. It's pumping, and you're checking all your gauges. You had a little box that you were checking gauges and watching everything. It was so real to me. And having this thing,
love that sound. Yeah.
And then it starts doing the wind up. From there on, it's one rockin' roar.
You're sunk into the experience by then too.
My word! And now it's an air show. The jets that we were watching were an air show.
Right.
But to smell it on the pass-bys, oh man, it's burning something. Yeah. This is good. And then when you're watching these verticals just lickety split and hearing them, and when you feel the lag time, and the things is now it's beginning to sail. This was everything that I experienced in a cockpit has now transformed into this bird.
Possibility.
Yes. Yeah. And then on the landing, on that taxi back, brakes, the whole works.
Comes with it. That's what's amazing.
And I'm listening to this, and I remember flipping switches, turn down, got the checklist, turn this off, check this off, turn that off, And you don't do that in this plane, but the sound was there. And then the cooling off the process that it goes through. I remember, you just don't shut the motor down. You break it down. You do this, you do that, flipping and making sure that all your gauges are going back. I was reliving those glory days, and it was fan-freaking-tastic. That's what I want in my experience every day for my air show back at my field.
Sitting here listening to this, because we experienced it, we know how real it is. Someone listening in right now or watching in, they may not be able to really feel what we feel because they weren't there. I would say if you're listening and you think, okay, well, these guys were there, so I really can't imagine what it must be like. Do I really want to? I'm the same way because when this first hit the market, and I'm sure this was talk, because I see the comments sometimes. Turbine and a phone? Are you serious? I mean, who would want to do turbine on a phone?
Yeah.
But
it's
you know
not,
what? Seeing it though?
It's not even a thing.
No, but it's not. Now seeing it up close, touching it, you don't even know it's foam. I know this is foam. I kept doing this. I'm thinking, wait a minute, it's like wood or wood or something.
There was no fingernails. There was no fingernail like marks that you leave in a normal foaming. Like he was putting up these ropes. I used the same type of bungee ropes on mine and left marks.
And you get impressions
all over the place. And I asked him, I said, "Why aren't you going to get that in there?" And
here's the other thing too. I was amazed at the color.
I
commented to him yesterday about the color. I was like, "You've had this for how long?" in 100 flights or so. I
I'd say
said,
it's
and
got
the
100
white is still white. And he said, yeah, it's even been out in the heat. We went to Jet Jam, sat in the heat all day. It is still white. Whereas my phonies,
Yeah.
you know, EDFs
Yeah.
that are white, they're turning the T45 turns yellow. I'm sorry, T40. T45 turns yellow. Other planes, they'll turn yellow. This one has not. The quality is.
Well, the foam felt like a composite than it did foam.
The structure inside is what's missed when looking from just as a spectator, because there's wood formers and support, and I mean it's no baloney.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that stuff like? Easy 3/8 or more thick material being used to make the formers and the decks to house. It's all been done. I mean, where the gas goes, where the smoke can go, like where all the components can go. It is plug and play.
And I got to
It's
see
very
this
well
plane pretty well apart today.
Hmm.
There was so much room. I mean, you've got your motor there, and you can almost put your hands. You know, you can run wires. You can do all this stuff and really work inside of it.
Yeah. You know, as I was thinking about the cost, I was thinking about it today of operating something like this, because you mentioned yesterday it'll run off of diesel, Jet A, or even kerosene, which is relatively cheap when you go that route.
Yeah.
And I thought about what we spend in batteries.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and I'm a battery salesman.
Yeah.
And
but I'm just saying, as far as the cost factor,
yeah,
you're really not
you're
doing
flying,
a whole lot differently at all.
You're flying for the whole weekend on one tank of fuel, and I can fly all day on one set of batteries in that same plane.
Mm-hmm.
Versus every time I land with my EDFs, I got to recharge.
Right.
And the bigger they get, the longer they take.
Right.
Even if you're blast charging them as much as you can, and you have sets ready, you know, to go, and so on and so forth. With these, it really is just plug the hose back into it, fuel it.
Right. As we saw.
And
yeah, we were back up.
Started back up.
We were back up.
It's really.
And for those thinking about whether
we
or not
flew
it'll,
back to back on those.
for those thinking about whether or not it'll, I think you mentioned grass or it'll take off the grass.
Yeah,
it definitely will.
Fly from grass.
So don't worry about that. But you know, those are there might be wondering, because I know we have a full electric audience. We really do. We're all electric.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you ought to see the comments.
yeah, I'm sure. They were, why are you guys still talking about turbines? But guys, I tell you, it was an incredible thing. You have to be there. That's the point I was making a few minutes ago. It's kind of hard to maybe listen in and think, okay, what are you guys talking about? But if you can find a way to experience it, because then you'll know what we're talking about.
And you know what? A lot of you guys never. You're going to get to see. First of all, the show today, and then videos coming out later this week from us and Anthony, and then hopefully you'll support Andy, whether you buy turbines or want to or not. You got to respect the hustle, man. We all got regular jobs, and we're bringing this to the streets. It's all really about keeping the hobby alive at whatever. Wherever you're at in it. I mean, it could be micros next week, so don't feel bad. And we flew some electrics. We'll talk about them in a minute as well. So ease up before you cheese up over here in the comments.
The thing is, I wanted to do turbine. I always wanted to. How do you get there? I'm ready
I'd be
for
scared to death.
Yeah, how do you get
yesterday.
there? This is it. This is this right here. You don't really get to hear electric dudes talking about turbines, and you don't have the turbine dudes ever talking about electrics.
Right.
I mean, there's
a different class.
It's a different class. We're talking about the transition right here in this show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're not ready for it, that's fine.
Because that's it.
You know,
This is
cool.
that space
And
between.
but this show is about this little segue for folks. Because there's a lot out there. There's a lot of people out there that's
I get emails every
ready to jump, but don't know how to make
And
the
neither
wise
did we.
decisions.
Did we?
I
We
did
did.
not know
Until yesterday.
yesterday.
I would never have known how. I would still be thinking about cost. Still been thinking about the technology of it. I don't understand it. But this made it easy. And when you think about the cost of it, I mean, you mentioned you bought probably 9 jets. The same here. We're spending an average of about between $750 and $800 when you include batteries. If you think about it, $549 for a decent jet, 2 to 4 batteries, you're way over $800 now. With the cost of this right here, that's 3 planes. That's it. That's all this was. I'm amazed by that.
Yeah. I think the day that I decided that I was going to get a turbine, this was years ago before these were available. I walked into my garage after going flying for a day, and I just did exactly that. I pointed to about 3 airplanes and said, I'm going to sell all 3 of those. I listed them for sale. I sold them. I think I worked a couple of evenings of overtime at work, and I went out after that and bought a used 10-year-old airplane, been crashed and glued back together, had a 12 or 13-year-old engine in it, and I spent the whole next year with my coach, mentor, guy who's going to teach me how to fly turbines, just getting the thing to run, just getting the thing to start. And finally, after we walked a whole lot of flights and I got my waiver, the first thing I did is sell it. And I bought one of these. and after that, it was, oh, wow, this is an engine, comes right out of the box, goes right into the airplane. It starts the first time. Everything's under warranty. Everything works. The gear is electric. The brakes are electric. It's all done. It's already all set. Right. There's nothing. There's so many fewer moving parts than there were.
And you know, Ryan, that's the thing I think everybody's worried about too, and I know I would be, is when you're at the field, you see all these gassers out there. You see them over there tuning and having to get things right. That was always my thing too about gassing. Man, it's a lot of work. It's so easy to just stick a battery and just go. We're always ready to go. Yeah. Well, looking at this yesterday, I mean, you explained a little bit about how easy it is to maintain this engine, and how
there's no wiping down.
Yeah, it's so easy to have it, and it doesn't have all the hiccups that the old technology had.
Right.
Now we're back to this is easy now. So the transition is going to be so simple. And if you have any issues with something like that, what would we do? Like say there was something that we had to that became an issue in a turbine. What would we do at that point?
Well, just call us.
Okay,
we get it worked out. I mean, I've got awesome tech support guys that are a phone call away that are working on these things every single day, taking them apart, putting them back together, changing this, changing that. We just went to brushless fuel pumps, which take a lot less voltage from your battery. It's a new piece of technology. It comes with all of these Swinehorn engines now. And my guy that does this, that tells me exactly what the voltage needs to be, what the airplane engine needs to be set at. He does that all before they're ever even shipped now. And so if there is a problem with one of them, which there's been very, very few, I just call them and say, if it's something I can't work out over the phone, hey, this is what it's doing. Oh, you just need to change it. Go in there and change the fuel ramp to this. Hey, change the fuel ramp to that. And tell me what it does. It starts right up. No problems. And sometimes you have some altitude issues. Somebody in Colorado versus somebody in Florida. Sure. It's a little different. You might want to set the engine up a little bit differently. But yeah, as far as every one of these engines that I pulled out of the box and stuffed into an airplane, the second that I started, it starts, everything works fine. No hiccups.
It was a mind blow. You've all seen guys at the field who really have a heck of a time getting the gassers going, and then somebody who's got it tuned and ease of operation. These things were very easy. We're getting a lot of questions about the waiver. What's it take to get one? Who issues it? And so on.
Well,
the turbine waiver.
The waiver, of course, is issued by the AMA. And to get one, you have to log a number of flights with a qualified instructor. And who is a qualified instructor? Somebody's obviously a turbine pilot. To a point where that instructor feels that they're competent enough to set the engine airplane up, start it, fly it, land it, all of it solo, and then be able to also demonstrate that in front of a contest director who also holds a turbine waiver. So after a instructor signs the waiver application and a contest director signs the application, that's basically, you send that to the AMA and they issue the waiver. But the way that the actual test flight actually goes, and every field is different, every situation is different, the weather's different. It's basically up to that contest director and that instructor pilot to have that student demonstrate it to their abilities based on the situation.
Competence. And you'll know if somebody's up to snuff or not.
I think when I did mine.
How do you find one of these? instructors, and how do you find one of these contest
directors?
your directors?
Usually through the events. They find usually the contest directors at the JET events. To find a qualified turbine instructor in your area, contact the AMA. They're usually going to be the best resource. They have lists. Obviously, we all have an AMA number.
Yeah.
They know who all of us are that have a turbine waiver. Your local field. If there's somebody there that knows something about turbines, ask them who they would recommend. Usually in the bigger cities, there's plenty of them. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or North Texas, email me. I can set you up with somebody or help you myself. It's
not that big a deal.
It's not some 9 test that I think people think that
they want to know that you know what you're doing.
You don't have to, when you do your check flight, you don't have to do all these precision aerobatics. It's basically, can you start the airplane safely? Because there's a lot of safety that goes into it. And then can you taxi, communicate with other pilots? Are you able to take off, fly it in the direction you're wanting to? Are you able to turn, fly the other direction? You're gonna have to fly the other direction. Execute a couple of maneuvers that the 2 instructors say to do, and then when you land it, you've got to land it in the center of the runway, stay on the runway, and bring it to a successful stop with the brakes, turn it around, taxi back, shut down safely. That's usually what it is.
Wow.
It's I've learned a lot this weekend. It's not for all of us.
That's right.
But there is a huge market segment of guys and girls, I'm sure there's one, who are spending big money flying turbines. There's always another world out there. I'm from Muncie, home of the AMA. When I'm talking to someone who doesn't know aviation, by the way, give it a thumbs up. There's 23 of you in here. Feed the algorithmic robot and thumbs up the show. Thank you. When you think you're the only thing in RC, I kind of consider a little bit our thing recreational. It's a lot of it's warbirds, it's scale, it's a nostalgia thing, but it's rarely contest. But if you go to AMA, I mean, there's a million different facets to the hobby that all deserve to have a light shined on it. So stick with us. We're going to keep moving. I think I've had my eyes open very wide this weekend about what else is out there, and it's super fun, and it may not be for me either. I'm tight, but I had a ball, and I can't say I didn't, and I would love to. I'm kind of like, if you are interested in the turbine thing, really the only spooky thing is some of the procedure, which is really not all that. Yeah. And it's going to be, I think there's going to be videos that show how easy that is to do in the future. But me personally, I know that I was nervous enough to respect the situation, and I didn't take it off and land it because of the lag. I probably could have, but I'm not going to prang this thing. So there's a little bit of that. I mean, definitely. I mean, you can tell by the discussion on the waiver that there's some respect that comes with this. And when you got your chops ready for that, go. I for me, would go with, I think I would want to go the 105 millimeter route of the same plane, just because I feel confident in electrics. But again, I've flown one time. It's like too early to tell. I've flown a plane twice in the stupidest wind ever, and folks want to know my opinion on it. I'll tell you, but I'll also say it's too early to tell. So with a little bit more stick time, and if you were interested in this, if you come alongside somebody who can help you get there toward the waiver and testing out, I think after a little bit, you'd be really confident. I think that, once you get the procedure, it's either running or it's not. The only thing really is just managing the wing loading or the weight of it, because they are bigger. The wing loading scales with that, so there's no surprises. Bigger does kind of fly better, as we all know, and that thing felt locked in.
Mhm.
The only thing I remember being spooked about was things I would do normally on an electric. If, let's say, I'm getting ready to make the base leg and I want to make a low pass on electric, I just cut the power, bleed it all off in that turn, and then be at the altitude I want to be at. With the turbine, you don't want to be up and down so much. The electric can handle a little bit more of that. And even with the electric, the EDF, there's a little bit of a lag, but not the same.
Yeah.
And by the way, every simulator worth its salt has turbines on it as well, where you experience the lag in those sims.
Yeah.
He doesn't only sell, let's move. Turbines, any questions, let us know. Hit up RCJETWERX, rcjetwerks.com. Andy exists in this wonderful space in between really what we all know and where some of us might want to go. And this is the best first step, really. Come alongside this fella to move on up if you want to, because it really is the best next step for moving out of what really the current offerings we're all used to. Flex Innovations.
Oh,
We all
Another airplane I didn't think I was going to get back.
we all, now this is going to get you guys just going off the charts with the comments. I just know we all had a fantastic time, and these were electrics now for the rest
And
of
it came after the turbine, so that speaks a lot.
Turbines.
we're there. It's raining. It's kind of windy off and on. And the first thing that we go for is we do the turbine first. And then after that, we go Flex Innovations FlexJet, available at RCJETWERX.
And we were thinking there's no way we can go back to electric after this. But,
Yeah.
but look what happened.
Yeah.
That thing was magic.
Yeah.
The Flex Innovations FlexJet is 6L power, 90 millimeter fan, fairly easy construction, a couple little hiccupy things, but nothing that can't be gotten over. This thing is very light in the loading and it's super efficient. It's got fantastic landing gear. And it's the best of every scale jet you've ever thought of. It's a Yak 130, it's an F-16, it's an F-18. What else is in there?
F-16.
The Habu.
Yeah.
The Habu. It's got family traits.
A little bit of alpha in there.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
And the landing gear, it's one of the best little wheelie jets I've ever seen. The mains are right on the CG, like right on the rotation point. So when you come in nose high and you touch down on those mains, first of all, they're very shock absorbing, but also they're right there where they ought to be at that rotational access point.
And they're flared out super wide.
So
they got a stance on those things.
Just the reason I go there is because if the wheels are back really far on the plane, the first thing that happens when those mains touch is the nose is down and it's stuck. And that's fine too. Keeps you from, bouncing around. But this thing just was, watch the videos this week. We got some stuff on Instagram. Everyone flew it. Had a ball. Now that one I was a little less conservative with on the maiden, and I think it was. I can't wait to
when you
edit it up.
I mean, you just got the sticks and you immediately went inverted. I mean,
that was
went all the way around,
slow as possible. Inverted.
Yeah.
The slow flight's amazing. It's nice and big, 90 millimeter. Again, supported well from Andy at RCJETWERX. Talk about the flex. Who wants to go first? I think you flew it first, and I was telling Anthony.
Well, he wouldn't give it up to you either. You're like, I don't know when I'm gonna get to fly this thing. Mike, I can't believe I let him go first.
I was screwing around back at the pits or something. It's like, oh man, that's okay.
You know what I liked about it was we just got done flying a turbine. We're high on adrenaline. I mean, we're just right. So now I'm thinking, okay, I know that turbine jet, super big, is boss. We had no problems in the flight. None. I mean, it felt great. Then I said, all right, now we have to regress just a little bit. How good is this thing? That's what running through my mind, right? And I'm looking at this massive wing root glove, and I'm thinking F-18, okay, long nose, that's great, but it has a yuck flavor to it. I mean, this thing is Yacht 130. That's my jam. And get that in a turbine, please. Anyways, you know, I'm looking at all these different wonderful situations that other aircraft possess, and I thought, how bad could it be? You know, I just got done flying a jet, but I thought, how bad could this thing be? Looks pretty good. The moment I throttled and the nose just got real light, I was like, I knew it before it left the ground. Oh, this is locked. And after that, it was cheese and grins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, whenever you get a plane that just totally fits your flying character and also fits all the parameters as far as locked in, and you know, you had a wide range of flight envelope, probably the widest I've ever flown in any aircraft.
Super efficient too. The time.
Super light. And I mean, you can full throttle, and then, you know, when you trade your energy, your speed, you know, you trade speed for energy pretty much. This got it right back. And it was sweet.
It was really
But what
neat.
blew me away, the landing.
You guys look like pros landing that thing.
The
It made us look
blew
good.
me away.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was like turbine, yeah. This, yeah, you know. Because I could see that one in tight fields. I could see it in a lot of different conditions
Oh yeah, grass.
that I find myself in, especially in traveling, you know, in some of our tight fields. When we're getting harvest time around in our fields, we got to go pick one out, you know, all of our local fields, because these tractors are everywhere. There's corn flying everywhere and tassels. And I mean, it looks like
It looks like a hee haw episode going crazy.
exactly, you know, and so you got to go to a different field for these 3-week harvests, you know, and there's some conditions that we can't fly other jets in, and this one fit the bill. And I just thought, yeah, and it's big.
It's amazing. It's so
big.
good.
There's a lot of things in the design of that airplane that are just kind of different from everything else.
Yeah.
Mainly the landing gear, which is designed for grass. It's the best grass landing gear I've ever seen on an EDF ever. The efficiency of the ducting leads to basically making that airplane very efficient. It runs on an 80 amp ESC. It's a 90 millimeter jet that runs on an 80 amp ESC.
And goes how long?
Well, and that's the other thing. They designed it so that it can take a wide envelope of batteries, 4,500 to 6,000. I've flown it on that whole wide range, and they will all give you a different type of performance. If you fly off of grass, you might want to keep it a little light. It'll still take. I've made it off of grass with a 5,500 in it, I think. You can keep that airplane really light with a light battery, a 4,500-ish battery, and just do all kinds of crazy aerobatics.
It was
very
so
responsive.
sick. It was so
And then if
sick,
you want to
dude.
fly for 5 minutes because it's so efficient, drop to 6,000.
Guys, wait till I'm sorry to interrupt. Wait till you see the video. We all got a piece of it. First couple passes, I just went as slow as I could, really, because it just felt so good, and then ripped it up.
Yeah.
So it's got the speed too, and you look at it, and it's like, what's this hybrid bastard of an airplane, you know? And the character says it all, and also you got to think about where it came from, right?
Yeah.
Kiki Somanzini is an aeronautical whiz.
Genius.
Designer and that whole team. Seth Arnold at the sticks of the FlexJet. He's about this small, and he's in the cockpit, and it says his name right there, so you know it's him. This is an award-winning champion pilot as well, and they've all put their heads together and developed this fantastic thing. And one other thing about that, of many, but that stuck out, was the flight stabilizer.
Mm-hmm.
That Aura flight stabilizer is set up and designed by its Kiki settings.
Yeah.
It's dialed in out of the box. And so, I mean, okay, knife edge made in flight. Let's go. Knife edge, maiden flight, no weird coupling, nothing. If there is any, it's probably minimal, but you wouldn't know because it's naturally programmed out of its character with his settings. It's just a joy to fly. And the thing about being able to do inverted and knife edge, it isn't because I'm fancy. It's because I felt that cozy and comfortable right away.
It's the only plane that I've seen people do that where they've never flown the airplane before. They take off like you guys did, and they're on the second pass. They're rolling inverted. They're what would you make an entire lap inverted and
totally.
You did a
super
slow inverted flyby. You don't see guys doing that with
on a
another plane that they've never touched before.
It felt really, and again, Anthony went nuts right away on it. He's like, I'm going to go crazy.
And on my flight, the battery wasn't in the right position. So
yeah, we had to do a little forward.
Yeah. And so I was like, that's kind of weird. Actually, we had to move it back because I always had a dive. Yeah. No problem. I trimmed it, bringing the CG still in the wrong spot, but able to
enjoy
rock it. And I'm thinking, wow, this CG is one of those planes where the CG is so wide on.
You can play with the CG a lot.
I think we were using a slightly larger, heavier battery anyway.
Yeah. But it didn't bother me none. Yeah. It didn't bother me a bit. I was like, man, that's diving. Okay. On the trim tab, and then went to town.
And still had good response.
Oh, man.
In the movements, especially on landing. Slow, that high alpha nose landing stuck. And didn't even know I was going to be able to do a wheelie. I've never done a wheelie before. And it never touched the nose as I touched down. Yeah. Hella wheelie all that runway until the energy just ran out. It made me look good.
We captured it all. Be watching this week, hit the notification bell.
How cool is it to have weights already pre-done for you? I mean, each surface had weights in it on the rudder, at the top of the rudder, and at the leading edges of the stabs. I mean,
counterbalanced,
this was really well thought out.
Yeah,
and the price point right there at every other jet. Was what?
Yeah,
one for me.
It's got gear doors and stuff too.
Yeah,
and that one's got the spring. They're springy. Yeah, that's right. The HSD stuff all had oleos. Even the HSD 90 millimeter Viper we flew. Yeah. Which we'll talk about in a minute. So by the way, if you've been on the fence about the Flex Jet, we're pushing you off. And if this show doesn't do it, next week will. We got videos of all of us flying this thing.
There's another one of those I just talked about, not sure what to think about as you look at it. Mm-hmm. This is one of those jets that I looked at when it first came out and thought, looks kind of funny. Yeah. And then you see a few videos on, you see them flying there. It's all right. But boy, now experiencing it, seeing it up close.
It's more than all right.
It's more than all right.
When you see, let's be real, right? Like when you see Mr. Somonzini flying it and hovering and doing like a crazy stuff. It's awesome. But that's not me. You kind of almost discount it. Like, okay, the dude designed it. He's going to fly the pants off of it, of course. Right. But like regular, everyday guys like us, getting a piece of that action was one of the highlights of many of the highlights of this trip. Not to mention that big old pile of meat last night from a barbecue store shop restaurant. But FlexJet,
everything's big in Texas.
Andy's got them. Let's see, beef jerky. Ricky, we'll get you some beef jerky. That's like the 20th comment.
Yo, Ricky,
I've seen. So this is kind of funny, right? So we're out in the middle of a little bit nowhere, Texas, at the field yesterday. And we're meeting up with some friends that we hadn't seen since last year and friends from online, like Dennis Farley, who you guys all see in the comment section. Hell of a guy, good time, brought a son yesterday. Well, we knew he was on his way to meet us, and it was cool because he brought airplanes too. And I'm like, hey, we're out here. We've been out here. We didn't really bring drinks and stuff. Let me get, I texted him. I was like, hey, man, will you give me a coffee, like black, cream, no sugar? And then I felt bad. I was like, he can't just bring me one. I look like some kind of prima donna or something. So I was like, guys, what do you want or whatever? And so I had handed Mike my phone and had him text some more, like, yeah, get us 3 coffees. Like, somebody wanted 3 sugar. So we're starting to get fancy. He thinks it's me. And so when he comes finally, he brought a pumpkin spice latte, which I would never order in a million years.
Unless he wears pink pumps.
And then the regular coffees. And he didn't tell me it was a PSL. He just gave me one of these, right? It made me think of you, Ricky, because I saw you on Instagram or whatever, rocking one of your fancy watches, like having a PSL. But anyway, so it was a big gag that he brought, Pilot Ryan a pumpkin spice latte, like I'm fancy, and all I wanted was black coffee with cream in it. But what was cool was we hit this gas station black coffee, and we all kind of split the PSL up because it's the only way I could stomach the stuff because it's so gross, straight up. But Dennis, thank you, man.
Yeah.
So let's see where we at. We're at an hour, but we don't care. Stick around. So I do want to. I want to give you a little bit more Andy's story before I get too off the track. So I like to always kind of ask, what was your first plane, like ever? Just let's get to know Andy Davis a little bit, right? So first plane ever, man. You ready for this?
I am a Scorpio. I do like the color blue. Yeah. I think, honestly, my first airplane was, it's fitting, the old Nitroplanes Airfield brand. Remember that?
Yeah.
They had an F5. And that was the first airplane that I bought.
He did my route. Did the jet. We didn't know any better.
I didn't know any better.
We didn't know any better.
I didn't know any better. I bought this ready-to-fly airplane. Comes in one box with a radio and everything. And
90% pre-assembled, perfect for beginner.
Yes.
That's the description of everything that was on the site for
Yes.
the planes back then.
I think I ordered an extra battery even with it, and
Optimistic. I like
I
this.
thought they was going to fly a second time. I was wrong. The extra battery wasn't needed. So I destroyed that, not knowing any better. I didn't know what the AMA was. I'd never heard any of this stuff. I just found this on YouTube and went and bought one of these things. And after that, I started asking people at hobby shops, where do you learn how to fly these things? And somebody pointed me to a club. I go meet somebody, and he's an instructor, and he says, you need to go buy one of these apprentice trainers and buy that and come back out here with it, and I'll teach you how to fly.
Nice.
That's how I started.
So ultimately, after the first go, successful stick time was on an e-flite apprentice.
Yeah. My
Nice.
first solo, I think, without crashing an airplane, was on an e-flite apprentice, and then like everybody else, I think I went into Park Zone tail draggers, and then they kept getting bigger and faster. And I think after the tail draggers, I went back to EDFs. I think that was when I started to move back to EDFs.
What was do you remember what your first EDF was after you kind of got up to speed?
I bought another F5.
You were not going to.
I wasn't going to.
I understand that.
I was
completely.
determined.
Yeah.
I'm going to fly this thing.
It's never done.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I had it with a lot of glue on it and a lot of tape. I think I had it for another 6 years and put a ton of flights on that thing. I turned it into a hand launcher, and I had it forever. I just
That's
had it
awesome.
forever until finally I think the receiver died in it and just went out into a lake.
So by then you've got the taste of successful jet flight.
I was into jets at that point. That's all I wanted.
What was the next one?
That's all I wanted.
What'd you get after that F5?
I think right after that, I probably bought
Another F5?
Time to move on.
I actually thought that for a second. I think I got one of those, also sticking with the early Nitroplane stuff. I think I got one of those Exceed F-18s.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And
right.
then maybe one of the Banana Hobby F-18s after that, and then just it kind of just got bigger and bigger, 70 millimeter, and then 90. And then,
I love to ask because I think the everyone's got this journey story, and I think it's really neat to know where guys come from, where they get to, how they get to where they're at, and I mean, we all start somehow, right? I mean,
Yeah.
And now proficient at turbines and an authority in the subject and a place to go to get those items and information to operate them successfully. That leads me to one more plug. I would be remiss if we missed, and it's an exciting thing for you, which will be a product that's coming. How soon?
which one are you talking about?
We're getting ready to talk about the Adrenaline RC composite jets that you're going to have available as like a plug and play deal.
Right.
Like you have all the components, all that design work's been done and testing and efficiency. Let's talk a little bit about Adrenaline RC composites for a minute.
Okay. The wings on it, plug their batteries in it, and they want to fly it. That's where we're at, and we now got to that point with foam turbine ready airplanes that you can do that with. You stick your engine in it, put your batteries in it, put it all together, and you're good to go. And now we're there with composite turbine airplanes. And, the high end stuff, the BBM stuff, has been there for a little while, but there's still that big gap in between the foam airplanes and like the BBM Cadillac stuff. And so this is going to be something in between there that will kind of maybe bridge that gap a little bit. It's a composite airplane that is plug and play, just like the HSD stuff is. It comes with the lights, comes with the servos, comes with the linkages. Everything's already put together. Electric retracts, electric brakes. The fuel tank is already installed, already plumbed, and it's ready for a turbine engine anywhere between the sizes of 80 and 120 newtons. And we're going to have not only the planes, we'll have the engine that goes into it and the battery set. We're going to develop a battery set for that airplane, just like we have for a lot of the other airplanes that we commonly see. And so it's going to be one of these things where you can buy a completely ready to fly, if you want it, from us at RCJETWERX, the composite turbine airplane engine batteries, everything but the receiver. We don't sell receivers, but we'll be able to put that together for somebody start to finish. And that's just what so many people have been asking for. And something in between the foam, the high-end foam jets, and then the really nice, expensive Cadillac stuff, something in between there. And this is really one of the only options that I know of. And we're really excited to see it. The first one will be here in about 2 weeks, and
That's
we're really
awesome.
excited about it.
We'll have to have you back.
Yeah. Any time. We were having a little bit of difficulty for a minute here, blipping in and out. It looked like from the comments. But what we're talking about, and I want to ask you, and then we'll kind of maybe reiterate some of these things. So Adrenaline RC composites, just for a point of reference, if you had to equate it to an EDF size for like 90, 105, 80, like what size kind of jet is this?
It's probably in that 120 size.
120.
Whoa.
This is legit. So this is this is again another great segue because of the completion level and I'm sure the character of its flight for those going from 90 current offerings, what we're used to in EDFs who are let's go turbine.
Right.
So and then again the HSD at 105, and then you got this as the 120 size, but they're turbine ready, plug and play, everything but the receiver, right?
They can be
composite jets, and check those out at RCJETWERX.com. And you've already got some stick time on some of these. Or is this a thing in progress?
It's one of these. I haven't flown it yet. My very good friend has a ton of stick time on it. He's kind of the guy that's written the manual on it and a wealth of knowledge, authority figure on turbine airplanes. He's been flying them for years, decades. And when he tells me it's a pussycat, it flies just like a Super Viper from HSD does. And he says that to me, then I believe him.
Nice.
He's got plenty of stick time on both. And so I'm very excited to get this. I've got a 120 engine with my name on it sitting there ready to go into it. And we'll be developing a battery package that will go in a specific spot that the customer doesn't have to worry about the CG. You put the engine here, it's already got the holes drilled for it. You put the batteries right here, your receiver can go anywhere. And that you're set. It's
Nice.
It's done. Everything's got the correct plugs on it. Everything's perfect. It's
That's
going to be
So
it's
when,
going to be done.
on this particular motor, then, is it going to be as simple as the HSD? Is it the same type of startup, or do you have more procedures for startup?
Well, the engine that like you flew yesterday is a Swinewind 60B, and the engine that we're going to put into this plane is a 120. It's the exact same engine, just bigger. It's just bigger with 30 pounds of thrust.
We're laughing because after flying
Son
what
of a
we flew
gun.
yesterday,
I guess yesterday we sort of arrived.
yeah. So I guess we're not there yet.
There always is a journey. There always is a journey.
There's more.
Oh, man.
So neat. Guys, yeah, the videos, it is what it is. We're broadcasting live from Texas. I don't have the control of the official studio, aka the basement at my house, where I'm plugged in directly with way too expensive cord directly to the router to make sure these things don't happen. But
This is our mobile.
I was
command
not going to
center.
miss the show, and I've actually wanted Andy on the show since I started this thing, and I was hoping we were going to work it out, whether it was at a restaurant or whatever, that while we were in Texas, we got to do this. So this is just so cool to be able to do this live and share this with you all. I think you guys talking about the hat, he's got them. So, hit him up. If you're on Instagram, he's there too. RCJETWERX. Anthony's on Instagram, but he's like Mike. He's kind of a no-show. So just go to mine instead.
We're hanging out together, so we don't have to.
We're working, aren't we?
Yeah. I'm working too.
So, we're not going goodbye yet, but we're getting there. So we're looking at about an hour and a half. Give it a thumbs up here. We appreciate that. If you've subscribed but you haven't hit the notification bell on this channel, do it because you're going to see all this cool stuff come out over the next few weeks, and it's educational and it's fun and we love doing it, and we're going to do our best to shine a light on a lot of different aspects of the hobby as time goes on, and with winter kind of coming on where we're at, these are great places for us to still engage with you. Like I love that this thing is weekly, 2.5 months, man. Every we haven't missed one. And hey, Mary Boozer with the super chat coming in. Thank you so much for that. Mary Boozer RC is the new name for Wesley Miller's YouTube channel, which you guys have heard me shout out numerous times on the show. And I want to thank him personally right here for all his help and support. He's working with me. We're building up this Amazon store, which is cool. You guys can go there and buy toilet brushes, toothpaste, hinge tape.
Just don't get the
Airplanes.
toilet brush mixed up with your toothbrush.
Yeah, like he does
No,
all the time.
no.
Go to the the about section in this YouTube channel, and there's a link that takes you to the store. Whatever. It's cool. It helps us fund equipment and things like that. We appreciate that. Let's see. You got unbelled, Victor. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Rebel it.
He rebelled and unbelled, right?
It happens. I mean, it's internet. So while we're here, kind of sort of getting ready to wrap it up, I'm super excited about the Adrenaline RC composites. I'm anxious to see all the videos we've shot this weekend. Even though it was a washout at the show officially, it definitely wasn't for Pilot Ryan and Captain Mike, Andy at RCJETWERX, and Anthony Quewington, aka Flying Ant. There's going to be a lot of content coming from this week. We had a ball with Dennis Farley and his son Wendell, which I finally figured out his name. I keep saying Wesley or Weldon, or I can't get it right. Those guys were troopers, and Dennis is one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Super humble, super meek.
Unless it's a boy.
100% badass.
Yeah.
The Texas Crocodile Dundee, if you're a boar, look out. I'll just leave it at that, man. What a ball hanging out with all you guys. Yeah, check out Amazon. We like that. Check out Flying Ant's channel. Check out Mary Boozer RC. Subscribe there. Be on the lookout for Andy's channel. I think until he gets some traction, we'll probably do some of that as well for him. So you'll see some of that stuff popping up on our channel. We're all about the whole hobby and promoting the whole hobby, and want to see the whole hobby do well, and really geared at aviation. But I got to tell you, with all the stuff I see on Instagram, I tell you, I'm going to end up with one of those truggies or something. But that's fun too. So we've asked you these questions before, but it still will apply as a new, I guess I kind of know, like if I'm going to ask Anthony, like what's the last plane he has flown, it's probably the HSD 90 millimeter electric Viper. That was kind of the last plane of the day, except for Dennis's Warbirds, which Dennis flew the dog fiddlings out of his Tiger Cat, by the way, which he won last year at Snowball Express, which it's never too late to make a donation to. Treasurer at 114rc.org. Make a comment, Snowball Express, if you want to donate for that. So the last plane you flew was I correct in that statement?
I didn't fly that one, did I?
I think it was all done it.
Me and you were the only ones that flew the the Viper 90 millimeter.
Did you fly the Viper?
I didn't fly that one.
Oh,
Okay.
That was pretty neat.
Yes.
It's been around a minute.
It's been around for a little bit, yeah.
But it was pretty neat. It was pretty neat. I really that style of Viper. I'm wanting to do. I really want to fly. If you guys aren't jet dudes, but you want to be, I think this will be a hell of a choice. I can't wait to get my hands on one. That e-flite 70 millimeter Viper jet.
Mm-hmm.
That's 6L power, but it's safe. It's the first EDF that's got Safe Select in it. It's going to be AS3X if you don't want that, but the Safe Select will be nice for limiting bank angle and getting, like, you know, if you're not ready to segue to turbine, you're ready to segue from something else to jet. That's probably a neat choice. And I'm thinking of it because it's the same Viper shape as that 90 we flew yesterday, which was dope. Oleo struts. Really absorb it and don't bounce you back up, which is really cool. What was the last plane that you fixed? Anthony Quewington.
The last one I fixed.
Go.
Well, the last one I fixed, I haven't finished, but I will tell you what happened.
Story.
It would be my 1700 millimeter Ferocious Frankie. Absolutely love that plane. I did upgrade it, you know, to the Pitts motor.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it is on rails with that. I mean, a lot of guys have done that. I'm sure you probably know that already, but it's a different beast when you put that one in there. But I accidentally got too close to a wire that I didn't know was there, and it just barely clipped the prop. It kept flying, but it just ripped it to shreds, obviously, because when it clipped it, the whole thing just kind of came apart. Landed, sort of safely, but it landed on the props and of course, broke the motor mount. So I'm still working on fixing that, because that one has to be fixed. That is like the boss. Big plane, doesn't matter if it's windy or whatever. Love that plane. So that's one I haven't finished that I'm still working on.
Before this, I just love to know this stuff. Before our jet outing Friday, what was the last plane you had flown?
That would have been, that would be my free wing A10.
Nice.
This is by far my favorite EDF.
I will never get rid of it. I'll never get rid of it.
If that one ever goes down, the cart is pushed 5 minutes later.
Life doesn't continue until it's
What was the last one, Captain Mike, that you fixed?
Yes. Last Monday, we had 35-mile-an-hour gusts. So it was time to pull out Dynam, and I had the Dynam Devil and playing around with a lot of aerobatics and stuff. We had a hot shot at our field who competes, and it's Kowalski, Mr. Kowalski.
Yeah.
And I said, man, fly this. And he was flying it. This was about a month ago or so. And he put that thing through his routine, which I've never seen a foamy that clean, that good.
Nice.
And so I said, what does it need, before you would, we're for professional. And he tweaked and twiddled and had this plane for about 10 minutes. And he finally did his thing. And now I was really impressed. I said, I'm going to leave it at those settings. So here we are in 35-mile-an-hour gusty winds. Yeah, I'm not that professional. This thing could, it was
Did he have it jacked up
he
a lot of
jacked
throw?
Everything out. He did everything to the radio to get it. And I just wanted to fly those settings, And it didn't last long. And came down and I lost orientation.
Hey, there's no better idea than when it's 35 miles an hour to take out a very lightly loaded biplane.
Why not?
Of all things.
Why not?
So that's the last one you fixed, or is that a write-off?
Well, when it hit the ground, totally lost orientation immediately. This thing was just boom, 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 boom. I was like, I'm done. And I watched it come down. You know how you fight the sticks, but it's going in all different directions, and boom, hits the ground. And I thought, okay, it's over. This thing is dead. And so me and Bobby K out there, we go run into it and go, this thing bad. It hit the motor and just kind of destroyed the plastic cowl only, but it was workable. So I went back and it pulled all the screws out of the motor mount, So we tightened them up, put it back in. It's good as new, ready to go. Man, I went to my normal rates. I said, no more of that stuff. I was flying it around, put about 5 flights on it until it loosened up again, and that motor went boom out, and the plane goes the opposite way. And we spent the next 20 minutes looking for a motor with a prop on. So that's where that's at.
So that's the last one you fixed and the last one you've flown prior to Texas. What was the last one you flew before our outing yesterday?
Well, to outdo Mike, I did find a tornado a month ago flying.
Go for it.
I think it was probably that Flex jet a couple of weeks ago. That was the last plane I flew.
The Flex jet.
Yeah.
The last time I got a chance to fly before this weekend was the L-39. Yeah. Which that video is up in stupid windy days, and it'd be fun to fly again when it's not. Pretty nice flying plane. It was just me, no cameras, nothing. I did get to crack off, and I probably said this last week. Time flies, and I don't mean the pun. It's hard to find it sometimes for flying fun. So we can't wait to film that plane. But the FMS Yak 130 version 2, I've told everybody about it. Here in the room, we can't wait to film it. But it was awesome. It was really good and efficient and pretty good flight time. And the vertical was sick, and the out of the box compression struts were sweet. And I think it's an in runner. It just sounds mean. I can't wait to do that one. That Little Rock does rock Alpha 10 Fernando. Good to see you, man. Guys, on the comments, man. Usually, we'll be back at our old routine probably next week. I love having fun and just bouncing back and forth with you on the comments, but for obvious reasons, I've just been kind of monitoring them today. Guys, is there any? We will wrap it up. We're looking at an hour and a half, and we could go on forever, but we're gonna cut it. Is there anything else in the comments? You guys throw me something. Throw me a Hail Mary if you want me to cover it. Thumbs up this thing. We got 24 in the room still hanging out. I appreciate each and every one of you. This is where you come to talk about all things RC aviation, and from all people, companies, walks of life. That's what we're doing now. So thanks for coming by. You can count on this. If for some reason it looks like it's not going to happen, I will make sure to let you know about that. I am going to end up putting out a feeler for guests of the show. When you're doing it weekly, you got to come up with them. And I hate to promise things if it's not going to happen. So there's some guests that I've got lined up that are still tentative. We'll just wait till a couple days before to announce that. Just mention a Mikey. This is from Grossman. He has the Free Wing P-51 flight metaled and ready for flight pretty quickly. That's cool.
Awesome.
What up, Grossman?
What up, Grossman?
Yeah.
Dennis Farley, 8:30 North Dallas, Eagles Field. Will be there. Brian Chambers, man, super chats. Thank you so much for that, man. That's fantastic. It's really a hell of a thing to be able to hang out with you guys this way. Mm-hmm. And because Mike and I, when you see us, we're all the time, it's kind of just us. Mike's able to get out there a little bit more than I am, but the camaraderie is something that really is and has become the hobby to me, the hustle. So that's why I do what I do on social, to engage with you guys, see what you're doing. We want to share what we're doing because we're having fun doing it, and you're watching, so I'm going to show you.
It's the only way we get to hang out with you guys, pretty much.
It really is.
Wouldn't it be cool if everybody in the hobby could go to fly together?
Yeah.
Right.
That would be insane.
And what's one of the best and funnest things, besides the flying, what is one of the funnest things you do at the field with your people? Talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do here forever.
Yeah.
Brian Chambers says, keep spreading the love and passion for aviation. He made a donation, which is fantastic. And eventually we'll have some merch and stuff that you guys can get to rock for the RC Pilots Lounge or Pilot Ryan, Captain Mike, whatever we decide to land on for that. And if you want to help support us, if you're shopping on Amazon anyway, hit the link in the description. It'll be there in the replay as soon as I get a chance to dress up this video, as well as if you just go to the channel header, you can see Amazon, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Go to those places, follow us, bookmark that Amazon store on your wife's computer. When she buys toiletries, curtains, curtain rod, it doesn't matter. If you go through that link, it helps us. And surprisingly enough, it's crazy, but it helps. So that'll keep us going. We're going to get a new big zoom lens one of these days. And that's what I've diverted my IX-12 fund. I'm kidding. I'm going to buy a Starbucks or something with the money. But anyhow, it all helps tremendously. So I called out for a Hail Mary. So great when we get together at Neffy. Yes, Grossman. We wish everyone was there. Next year I'll be at Neffy. No, but I hope no one's getting married that day. Like last time. Does the Yuck 140 have brakes?
Yep.
If you put them on it, it does. Or if you crash it into the side of a building, knowing you, Ricky, It will.
Yes, it will stop right in its tracks.
I love these guys. So fun. Thanks for coming by. Any Hail Marys, any last minute things? I'm going to do a final plug for Andy and we'll wrap it.
I just want to say, man, thanks for your hospitality again here in Texas. I mean, if you guys can ever get out to a Snowball Express or one of these events out here, this is the state to do it in. I mean, this is, and meat. Man, I'm telling you, meat. If you could go into this mecca of meat, think about all the best meats you've ever had smoked on open grills and stuff like that.
Filmed it.
I did.
Did you? Okay.
We are going to put the meat on
the street.
I got it, dude. This was just, you smelled this at least 2 miles down the road.
No doubt.
What?
Yeah.
You know what? After that long day of yesterday, the last thing I really wanted to do was stand in line for the meat until I saw the place. I was like, oh my.
We're talking.
You've never seen anything like this, dude.
I told you you're going to like it.
That place was fantastic. I love Texas. Thanks for having us. We were flying here, and I said it on the plane. I really do enjoy being here. It reminds me of Indiana with wide open spaces, but there's something about this place, man.
It's the meat.
And I'm a cowboy at heart a little bit. It's a grandpa thing, and the meat is great. Everyone here is packing. Everyone here just hand out steaks instead of Tic Tacs. It's just a good time. And then and you meet buddies who like in the hundreds of like Dennis. So his stories yesterday just put me over the edge. What a killer dude. I mean, the stuff you guys get to do around here is so just, you're born with a man card here, aren't you? It's just so fun.
Yeah, back home, you know, it's like, guess what I did? I went 3 rows into the cornfield. I picked the corn and I ran back out. These guys are like, I killed 400 boar yesterday. And then I did it with a knife. Man,
he's not kidding.
Yeah. And he's like, well, his tusks were there, so I tapped him on the head and I jabbed him with a knife.
So my boy, well, one story was like, I got a knife and I'm tapping its nose so my boy can get his first kill with a pocket knife from the side or something. Anyway, good times, guys. Hey.
Well, now we have Peter knocking at Dennis's door.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. They just wanted more meat. That's all.
Well, guys, I would tell you, it's an honor having you guys here, and we love bringing you down. And again, I want to thank Andy for the hospitality for you guys here at Chateau La Davis.
Yeah.
I know you guys enjoy being here. We got one more day of flying tomorrow.
Oh, can't wait.
And we absolutely love having you guys here. And you're right, it is about the hobby. And I love the fact that you guys are willing to help expose more out there. Because, you know, we grew up knowing, you know, only what we know. I mean, banana hobby and hydroplanes, that's what we grew up on. And then it expanded into other things. And then we're bringing in Flex Innovations and HSD. And that's what it's about. And I appreciate you guys being willing to expand that for people, because our audience comes from a base of what we know where we come from. But now we're expanding a little bit more. So hopefully this helps get that. So thanks for what you guys are doing.
It elevates the whole hobby. There's room in it for everybody, and there's directions to go when you're ready to, or not. No one's going to shame you into not wanting to fly, you know, turbines if your last plane was an apprentice, but it's there. Yeah. And if you want a way there, and Andy supports the electric flyer, you get so many questions on what batteries that people can use in regular things we're used to, like all the fantastic free wing line that we've, you guys have seen us work up and enjoy flying. So check out Andy, RCJETWERX.com. He's got batteries, he's got adapters, he's got connectors, and he's got the passion for it like the rest of us. And super stand-up guy. Thanks for having us. Your wife will not watch this show that's been an hour and 34 minutes, but I want to thank her profusely from the bottom of my heart for letting us stay here. It's been, I mean, this is kind of a dream.
And at the heart of this, guys, at the heart of this, Dave Hawker.
Absolutely.
None of this
For
would be
real.
none of this would be even happening right now if it wasn't for him. So
That's true.
I know we got rained out, and sorry, Dave, we can't control the weather, but man, thank you for everything you've done.
Thanks for reminding me that.
Yeah, I mean
Lot of
that's
moving parts.
yeah, a lot of moving parts, and he's not obviously can't be with us tonight, but shout out to Dave. I mean that guy.
We had a good time with Dave on the show last week.
Yeah.
Check that out. It was awesome, and it's a little bit bittersweet because we're so pumped for the show that didn't really happen. But I keep using the word forlorn this weekend because it's funny.
I don't
to
even know
say
what
it.
that means, but
Don't be sad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That word didn't make it that far up north into Canada.
It doesn't.
just didn't. Yeah.
it's not
Don't be
around.
sad
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
we still got a ton of good stuff to share with you all, and hopefully brought some awareness to Snowball Express as well. And next year, I think I don't know what they're going to do. I can't speak for them, but I hope the way to make up for it is just make it a bigger, longer 2-day event. We'll see how that happens, but we made it to Texas, so that's
Right.
cool. We'll take
Yeehaw.
we'll make the best out of it. Guys, thanks for coming by. I appreciate you. We've said it. I'll say it again. We appreciate and we love you. We're going to end the stream. You ready? There's a countdown and there's a little bit of a lag because it's not really over yet. And it's kind of funny. People are leaving the room. Thumbs it up. If you watch it on the replay, hit the live chat because it's off the charts. There's hundreds of comments over there. Guys, we'll see you. Thanks. 5, 4, 3, 2. It's still rocking.
Stick a monkey pants.